It's funny how everybody gets quiet here.
Another state. It's terrible.
And the introduction to part.
Good evening, everyone. Call to order the meeting of Town Council for the Town of McCandless for August 24th, 2026. Will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. As always, we start off our meeting with a few announcements. I'd like to ask Mr. Arlo to begin here this evening.
Please join us with a moment of silence honoring the life of Dylan Eggerter, a McCandless Township Sanitary Authority employee who passed away on August 18th, 2026. Thank you.
Thank you. And we want to acknowledge our great sympathy for his friends and family and all of the fellow employees at MTSA. It was a great loss and a valuable part of our community. The people who work with us provide these services for us. And everyone, I would say, here in council shares my sincerest sympathy. Moving forward, the Town of McCandless Community Day will be held Saturday, September 19th, 2026, behind Town Hall, starting at 1 p.m. Join us for a full day of fun and something for everyone, with fireworks to end the evening. The Shining Star Gala will be held on Friday, November 6th, at the Camelot Event Center. We will be honoring 9 recipients for their extraordinary services and volunteerism within the McCandless community. For more details and tickets, please visit our website. And at this time, I'd like to ask for a motion, please, for Resolution 2026-7.
I make a motion to approve the testimonial resolution 2026-07 for the appreciation and recognition by the Town of McCandless of Officer Todd Ray upon his retirement.
Thank you, Mr. Wall. Do we have a second? Second. Thank you, Ms. Alt. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, ayes have it. We would like to now welcome Officer Ray, please.
And read this resolution, if I may. Whereas, upon the occasion of the retirement of Officer Todd Ray in the Town of McCandless Police Department, effective August 14th, 2026, this resolution is presented as testimony of his loyal and dedicated service to the town. And whereas Officer Ray has served the town through 28 years, beginning on September 14th, 1998. And whereas Officer Ray has professionally and courteously performed his duties as a patrol officer. And whereas the contributions and sacrifices made by Officer Ray have a lasting and positive impact on the town of McCandless and its residents. Officer Ray has consistently gone above and beyond the call of duty, demonstrating exceptional leadership, courage, commitment to public safety, mentoring junior officers, and earned the trust and appreciation of fellow officers, local officials, and members of the community. And now, therefore, be it resolved by Town Council of the Town of McCandless, the Council does hereby honor Officer Todd Ray for his years of service to the Town of McCandless and for providing peace, security, and well-being of the residents in a diligent, courteous, and professional manner. The above is hereby resolved by Town Council of the Town of McCandless on this 24th day of August 2026. Chief,
Speed.
Chief would like to make a presentation for officers.
Small token of appreciation to Officer Todd Ray, 28 years of service, faithful service. Congratulations on your retirement.
Thank you. And Officer Ray, if you'd like to share a few words.
First off, thank you, council. Thank you for those that are here. Tom McCandless, police officer, for men and women. Thank you for keeping me safe. Over the years I've been there. And I'm deeply indebted to everyone for your kindness, your friendship throughout that time. I'd like to thank my wife, for the 28 years of putting up with me throughout. It's weird standing up here in a way, as far as being in a suit. Last time I was up there in a suit was in 1998. And that's when we got sworn in a suit. It's a lot later not carrying the duty belt and not wearing the uniform. I'll deeply miss it. It truly will. And thank you, everybody.
Thank you again for your years of service, and thank you to all of our officers in McCandless Township Police. We have the finest here. Now we would like to, I would like to invite Mr. Schwen to introduce our new building code official.
Yeah, happy to say after an extensive search, we found an excellent person to join our team. Mr. Tim Ford is here with us today. And if you'd like to come up and briefly introduce yourself, we would appreciate it. He is our building code official.
Welcome.
Thank you. Tim Ford, originally from Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. Spent 25 years out in East Palestine, Ohio, and now I live in Elwood City. I have 14 years of experience, did 4 years of code enforcement and 10 years of building inspections. I look forward to working with you and showing you my dedication and service to this community.
Welcome to the town.
Welcome to McCandless.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, and now I would like to go to agenda item 4 and turn this over to Mr. Corbett to begin the public hearing for ordinance number 1574.
Thank you, Madam President. I'll call to order the public hearing regarding tentatively identified ordinance 1574, an ordinance of the town of McCandless, Allegheny County, amending Part 13 of the Town Code of Ordinances zoning in order to revise the town zoning map to change the zoning district designation of a portion of property known as block and lot number 715-F-55 from the MU zoning district to the SD zoning district in accordance with the rezoning application on file. Before we open it up for public comment, I'll turn it over to Mr. Ennis for a presentation.
Good evening, Council. I'm Craig Bishop with HRG, and I'm here tonight on behalf of Adventure Champion Partnership. So in front of you, you'll see the Town of McCandless zoning map, and we highlighted there in the circle the parcel that we're seeking to rezone a portion of it from MU to SD. So here's just a kind of a zoom in view of the parcel. So there in blue is the parcel that we're looking to rezone a portion of. And then you see there in red, that is the North Allegheny School District parcel. So as part of this rezoning, Adventure Champion Partnership is looking to dedicate this rezoned piece of property to the North Allegheny School District as part of a future renovation project. Go to the next slide, Matt. So I know it might be a little hard to see here, but there's two solid blue areas. Those are the areas that we'll be looking or requesting to rezone from MU to SD, and then the remaining piece of that parcel would remain MU. Then just on this slide, we just wanted to share with you what that would look like as far as a zoning map change. So there on the left is the current zoning map, and then on the right is what that would look like if we were granted the rezoning for that piece of property. And I'll save that for later, because this is part of, if we do get approval, we would be doing a lot consolidation plan, but that's maybe in the future. But I guess we're here tonight just requesting council to consider allowing these pieces of property to be rezoned from MU to SD.
I have a question.
Yes.
In this particular slide that's up now, it doesn't jibe with the previous slide, because this shows that there is a portion of the land in blue that goes south on the picture, but it doesn't show that in the previous slide. Why would that be?
Good. So it,
And maybe I'm looking at it wrong.
yeah, so Matt, if you could go back to that last slide, very last one. So what that was showing is in the future, if that would be, if we allow for rezoning, we would look to consolidate that. So in that last slide is what that consolidation would look like. So that little sliver of blue would be the remaining piece that Champion Adventure property or partnership would retain, and then it would then get consolidated into the North Allegheny School District property, which is shown in red. So if you flip back, Matt, to that other slide.
Okay, this is where I'm coming off the rails here a little bit. Because if you look at the proposed zoning on the right-hand side, it doesn't jibe with the next slide, because it shows an area that's coming down past where it comes down into the red area that says MU. You understand what I'm saying?
I think that's going to be the potential consolidated lot with the south tip tail that you're seeing there. But I think,
That's what I'm concerned
yeah,
about.
that is when it's already zoned MU.
Okay, yeah, but
But then hopefully, like, I think your
Look at
intention is
the
to.
picture, go back please if you could.
Yeah,
Look at the picture on the right-hand side, proposed zoning. That tail, Joe, that you see in blue on the other page is in pink on this page. It just comes along the road right there.
okay,
You see what I'm saying? They are the same, the colors are different on the two slides.
okay, I understand.
So in the
But
end-
it just represented differently,
Yes.
that's all.
yeah, sorry, we should have probably coordinated the colors in this previous slide that would match the zoning map, which would have been a little more legible and better to understand, so I apologize for that.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Ennis, do you have anything else to add?
Yeah, I can add one other item. There is, in conjunction with this rezoning application, a recommendation for approval for a lot line revision between these parcels. It was, the municipality's planning code requires that if a rezoning and a lot line revision were to be done, that the rezoning would occur prior. So if this rezoning were to be considered and approved, then a subsequent lot line revision would be presented to the board.
Any other questions from council?
I guess, is it typical to have one lot that has two zoning codes? Is that unusual?
So it typically, that's not how a rezoning would be handled, but because this is in conjunction with a lot line revision, the process is rezone and then approval of lot line revision will occur after.
Because they'd be essentially temporary.
Correct.
Okay.
There's obviously a purpose why this land is changing hands, correct?
Correct, yes. So that's part of a future project that North Allegheny is currently assessing, and they're looking at potentially putting additional access to Duncan as an alternate access point to their campus.
And ingress and egress to
Yes.
all three schools on the campus?
Correct.
Okay.
Everybody on council okay? All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Bishop. At this point, then, I will open up the floor for any public comments about the proposed rezoning. Are there any public comments?
Ellen Wright, 9635 Old Coomer Road, Allison Park, PA 15101. I just want to begin my comments by saying I filed lawsuits with the town because the town doesn't follow the code and/or state law. So looking at this, there was a lack of information in the public packet. All that we had was that there was a public hearing. We didn't have these maps in the public packet to see ahead of time what was going to be talked about. The last time North Allegheny asked for rezoning, then it turned out that they had future plans, which they had not mentioned at the time of the zoning. Perhaps it's not required, but it would be nice to know. This ordinance is void from the beginning because the post-enactment language does not follow the code. And let's see, I'm not quite sure if we can have a public hearing the same day and then approve at the same meeting, but I'll have to check into that. Thank you. Trees, it looks like this is a heavily treed parcel. I would be sad to see if the future plans include cutting down these trees.
Thank you for your comment. No.
This ordinance is not on the agenda for this evening, just to clarify that. Okay. Just, it's on the agenda for the public hearing, but not for council's consideration.
Thank you.
Any other public comments?
Good evening. My name's Tim Barker with McCandless Township Sanitary Authority.
I'm sorry, Mr. Parker, I'm going to ask you 1 second. I'll invite you up in just a moment, please. I don't make sure.
Oh, yeah, this is just on the,
This is just
public hearing.
on this part. Thank you.
Okay. If there are no further comments on the public hearing, then the hearing is closed. And Madam President, you may continue.
Thank you. Okay, now we will start public comment on agenda items, and I'd like to welcome Mr. Barker from MTFC.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
On behalf of the McCandless Sanitary Authority, our managers, our board, and myself, I just want to thank Town Council, Town Manager Schwend, and Social Worker Ms. Fry for the outstanding support and leadership that took place during the tragic events that took place last Tuesday. Immediately after it happened, Mr. Schwend reached out, providing immediate assistance, and without any request and his persistence, he took it upon himself to bring Ms. Fry to our office to provide service for our staff, our managers, and for anybody who needed it. And it was just very reassuring to see that we had the support, not only from the council members that reached out and everybody in the community, but from the leaders within the township. And we are extremely grateful to have such a strong relationship with the town, and we're proud to be members of the community. We're really fortunate, and for sharing difficult moments like this, it's just goes beyond the service that we provide, the partnership. We're very proud to be members of the community and proud to be identified as McCandless Township Sanitary Authority. And on behalf of the board, management, our employees, we really just want to truly thank you for all the support.
Thank you, Mr. Barker. Okay. Would anyone else like to present any public comments at this time on agenda items?
Ellen Wright, 9635 Old Coomer Road, Allison Park, PA 15101. I'd like to discuss the resolution of the town that says that after, when there's to be an action, that after council comments on it, then it's time for public comment. I'd like to comment about this the disaster declaration. I have no idea what happened, and it sounds like it was a sad thing, and I'm very sorry about it, but I don't know, I can't make a comment about it because there's no time for me to make a comment after I find out what it's about. So I just want to draw to attention that once again, we're not following the town's resolution about public comment prior to voting on something. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment, Ms. Wright. Is there any further public comment at this time on agenda items? Okay, none. We will move now to the approval of minutes. Would someone like to make a motion,
I make a
please?
motion to approve the meeting of town council minutes, August 10th, 2026.
Thank you. We have a second.
Second?
Thank you, Mr. Hickerson. Okay, all in favor of approving town council minutes from August 10th, 2026, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Now, I would like to welcome our finance director to share reports of our finances and the summary and checklisting, please. Thank you, Brittany.
Sorry. Good evening, council. In your packet are the general fund revenue and expenditure reports for July 2026. As of July, our year-to-date revenues total $9.5 million compared to $9.2 million at the same time last year. Year-to-date expenditures total $11.9 million compared to $9.3 million of last year. With the continued inflow of tax revenue, the budget is beginning to normalize and is trending in line where we were at this point last year. So next, I will move on to the check listing. Enclosed in your packet is the check listing for July 2026 in the amount of $2,545,864.68. I would be happy to answer any questions you guys might have.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from council? This time? Okay. We have no further questions. Appreciate that. Can we have a motion to approve the check listing, please?
I'll make a motion to approve check listing number 7 dated July 1st, 2026 to July 31st, 2026, totaling $2,545,864.68 as submitted to each member of council and posted on the bulletin board and town website.
Thank you. Do we have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor of approving check listing number 7, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, our communications report for the month of August. I believe Liz was not able to join us tonight. Not sure who's going to talk on her behalf. You?
Sure, absolutely. Liz's report is in your packet. She starts out with the social media highlights. And, I'll give her a compliment while she's not here. Ever since she's taken this over, not only do we see the metrics, but the performance has vastly increased since it has in the past. The number of new followers increases substantially each month, and the engagements, which is really what she uses to measure if people are seeing our message, is there. So, I know that communication is a difficult thing. People are often eager to criticize it, but she's doing a great job, and she's putting everything out there that she possibly can. Page 2 of her report highlights some of the specific activities that she worked on this month, including the community corner at the bottom calling for volunteers. You'll hear more about the Leaf and Snow Angels later. Liz and Diane have been hard at work on Restaurant Week, and as well as if you saw it, National Night Out and the 175 Reasons to Love McCandless, that'll continue at Community Day also. So if there are any questions, and you can see the Leaf pickup reminder is in your packet. It's blasted all over all of the socials, website, etc. also. So if anybody has any questions for Liz, either myself or Katie would be happy to answer them.
I just want to make a comment. The engagement with our communications is off the charts because everything is entertaining. I mean, Liz has a way of capturing exactly what we're trying to get across. And I think she does it in such a way that it actually attracts people to what we're doing. So I'd like to compliment her. I mean, it's like night and day.
I agree. I think it's great in seeing the information she shares being shared everywhere, which is what's supposed to happen on the internet. It's working in a positive way for change. So
She
it's
laughed because
appreciated.
one of her favorite posts, or one of the most loved posts, is about the leaf compost. And she said, I never thought I'd make a post about dirt, and so many people would love it.
Yes.
And, I think a close second to that is the new questions about, do you need a permit? And sure, we could have Tim stand in front of us and lecture us about permits, but Liz had them come across a bridge and do a little dance that I don't understand, and everybody loved it. So she really captures creativity in a great way, so.
Absolutely. I hope she watches the video. She can see how much we love her. If there's any further questions for John from council. Okay. Moving on, there'll be no junior council report until fall of 2026. Please submit, if anybody is interested, please submit applications for junior council no later than September 18th. We are looking forward to engaging our students again very soon here with council. So we will now move to liaison reports. McCandless Industrial Development Authority, Mr. Hickerson.
Thank you. We did not meet last month.
Thank you. And North Hills Council of Governments, Mr. Giorgetti could not join us this evening, but I do not think there was a meeting.
There was.
Okay. And Northern Regional Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Wall.
There hasn't been a meeting.
Thank you. Okay, and at this time, I'd like to welcome any public comment on administration and finance. Seeing none, we will move to number 8, our planning and zoning reports. We will begin with Mr. Ennis, Planning Director's report for August 2026.
Good evening, Council. To give an update for the Planning Commission, at the August meeting, the following items were tabled. That's the Light Hyundai dealership combined preliminary and final land development. And as an update, the item will be tabled until the October meeting. I just received confirmation from the applicant to address engineering items. The second would be the North Allegheny High School, Senior High School combined preliminary and final land development. That table of the meeting will be heard on September 1st. And additionally, we will hear 2 new items, the Chris Kev McCandless Plan Lots Minor Subdivision and the Harmony Manor Plan Final Subdivision and Land Development. As for an update for our zoning hearing board meeting, I wasn't able to attend last month's meeting. Ms. Stringent did take that over for me, so thank you for that. And at the August 26th meeting, we have one item for this Wednesday, and that is Appeal 2063, which is a request for a use variance to allow for a child daycare within the MC district at 9600 Perry Highway. Those are updates from my director report.
Thank you, Mr. Ennis. Does council have any questions for Mr. Ennis at this time? Okay. Hearing none, we will move on for liaison reports and our planning commission, Ms. Alt.
There are, as Matt indicated, a lot of projects in the pipeline at various stages. There was a lot of information included in your packet, so hopefully before this evening you did have a chance to review them, but obviously Matt will be here to answer any questions you might have. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Alt from council? Okay. Next is zoning hearing board, Mr. Wall.
There was one appeal last month, there's one appeal on Wednesday. The information's in your packet.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Wall from council? Okay. And at this time, I'd like to welcome public comment on planning and zoning.
Ellen Wright, 9635 Old Coomer Road, Allison Park, PA 15101. I file lawsuits because the town doesn't follow the code or state law. The modifications that were on the planning, that are tonight, were not on the planning commission agenda. There are no minutes, as usual, when something is brought to council. And the minutes that where this was discussed in July, even though they were approved, have not yet been posted. That's, of course, the Sunshine Act issue about the modification not being on the agenda. How many trees are we talking about being cut? As a quick glance, I can't see where it says how many trees. Preserving green space is to align with the implementable comprehensive plan. Cutting down trees, increase heating, cooling costs, probably increase heating costs. It seems a little short-sighted that the architects are cutting down trees. I believe, especially as things are getting warmer, and that trees prevent, when you park somewhere, do you look for a place that doesn't have trees or a place that has trees because it's cooler? So I'm concerned that the architects have not looked into, or not preserving trees. I believe there was a lot of discussion at Planning Commission about cutting down trees, and then you need to put in retention basins. I'm not seeing any of that information, maybe it's there, but once again, there are no minutes. And then, let's see, when I looked at the modification things, modification under the code that will not be contrary to the public interest, will not be contrary to the public interest, will not be contrary to the public interest. Cutting down trees certainly feels like it's contrary to the public interest, especially in the 21st century. And so I, of course, would encourage you to table this and just provide, there's no information, there's the problems with the Sunshine Act, and preservation of trees is always important. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Is there any further public comment on planning and zoning? Okay, hearing none, we will move now to recreation reports. The Parks and Recreation Director's report for August 2026. Mr. Costa.
Good evening, Council. A couple highlights from my report include the good news that we were awarded a Main Street Allegheny implementation grant to put a mural on the old Harmony Line abutment on Pine Creek Road. So this will be a dream come true for me when it's completed within 2 years from now. So much more to come on that. But that was a wonderful win for us. McCandless Adventure is back. We started selling, or giving away tickets, I should say. Tickets for McCandless Adventure at National Night Out. They are available in the lobby here with Kelly and during our regular business hours, and we'll be giving them away again on Community Day. So a couple of days after Community Day, I'll pull the winners, and then I'll coordinate rides to school for kids in a police car, an ambulance, the 3 fire trucks, and a dump truck sometime in October. So looking forward to doing that again. Unfortunately, the Star Party at Wall Park had 93 people signed up, but unfortunately, due to the cloudy weather conditions, we did cancel that event, which was scheduled for August 13th. So hopefully next year we'll be able to get the astronomers back and see some Perseids meteor showers next year. The Heritage Center is remaining busy. We just had another full house of about 45 people to hear Scott Beret talk about the history of Ross Park Mall to celebrate their 40th birthday. It was a wonderful presentation, and our next one is already full with a wait list, and it'll be about the history of North Park. We have 2 more lecture series after that, concluding the year in November. For the next 3 weeks, the only thing I will be thinking about is Community Day. So that's the only thing I thought about today and tomorrow and the day after that. So I'll be working on Community Day. If you have any questions about the layout, the logistics, the parade, please feel free to send me an email. Any questions?
Are you seeking volunteers for Community Day?
I sure am.
And how does one volunteer if they're interested?
I have a sign-up sheet if you're interested in volunteering. I have places for you to be on Community Day. So just send me an email and I'd be happy to forward on that sign-up.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Costick from council? We appreciate your hard work. This was extra things going on with the McCandless 175, and we're excited about the Community Day this year. We're looking forward to it. Now for liaison reports, the Finance Development and Promotional Committee for the Heritage and Cultural Center, Ms. Ault.
I would like to point out that the success of the Third Thursday lectures is not only evident through the sellout crowds, but over actually people falling over to be part of next year's schedule. Already people reaching out and confirming with Abby that they want to work with us for next year. So it's a great representation of our community. Thank you for that. Also would like to remind everybody of Friday, November 6th. Councilman Wall is working very diligently on the Shining Star Gala, and want to make sure that council, to the greatest extent possible, can note it on their calendar and make sure they can attend. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Okay. Now we welcome public comment on recreation. Okay, seeing none, we will move to our town manager's report. Mr. Schwen.
Manager's report is in your packet. Happy to answer any specific questions. A few highlights include 2 of the positions that have been open that we filled. You met Tim tonight already, and at our next meeting in September, you'll meet Mr. Michael Stahlman, who will be hired as the Public Works Superintendent, effective on September 8th. So he'll be here at the next meeting to introduce himself as well. Comes with a number of years of experience in construction management field. The other item of note under our personnel section is working with Ms. Stringent on the employee wellness program for 2027. One thing that we want to work on is growing and developing our employees, but also making sure that they understand the resources available to them to help them grow and to feel satisfied in their jobs so that they can help perform better. And Katie's doing a great job working with Ms. Fry and Brittany on putting that program together. In the finance department, it's budget season. It'll be upon us quickly. Council will be getting invitations for your 2x2s to meet and discuss priorities. I'll also send you out a sheet ahead of time so that you can list us priorities that you would like us to start thinking about ahead of those meetings. Department heads have already had their meetings scheduled, and we'll start to put this together in September and for October. In-person real estate tax collection is continuing. They'll be here this Friday also, Jordan Tax Service. They've had a number of people come in and meet with them. They said that it's been a positive response so far, so I was happy to hear that also. If we have any grant updates, I'll let you speak now, but if not, we don't need to either.
Not sure what to do with that.
Perfect.
Thank you,
That's
Mr.
your
Schwen.
option. That's a yes or no, so
Okay.
we'll go with yes.
I did good. Okay, thank you, Mr. Schwen. Good evening, council. Very brief update from me this evening. Recently completed and submitted our Gaming Economic Development Tourism Fund application for ADA restroom improvements here in Town Hall and at Devlin Park. And the next application I'm working on is our Main Street Matters application through DCED. This is a planning grant only for the Ingomar Business District. This is due next Monday, and I did speak with a representative from DCED to better position this application, some tips and pointers on potentially getting that application funded. Our Green Light Go application for adaptive signals in the Perry Highway corridor is currently under design with Trans Associates, as is our Arley school zone in design with Trans Associates as well. Great, thank you. Any questions?
How much money did we get for the train trestle down there at Pine Creek?
$25,000.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions from council? Okay, thank you.
2 final items to note, under Public Works and Infrastructure, stormwater issues. Stormwater Committee did meet so that we could review a number of targeted properties in the town that we'd like to address. As we work through our budget for next year, we need to prioritize where we'll put our resources in order to have the greatest impact on reducing stormwater problems on various properties. We'll get to that later in our Oak Ridge discussion also. And lastly, Nick isn't here to hear this, but he'd be very proud to know that we applied for the enhanced cull permit again for a 3-year period of 27 to 29. Met with neighboring managers in order to discuss joint deer management through the COG. As we know, the deer do not know municipal borders, so it's important that we either educate them, which we can't, or else that we work together in order to manage the deer. So we met with neighbors to the south, north, and to the east, and everybody's interested in a program to figure out how we can solve the problem together. So very positive. Any questions? Happy to answer.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Schwen from council? Thank you. We have our engineers report, which is in the packet, and Ms. Harrington, I don't know if you have any highlights or anything, or if council has any questions. Thank you. Now, our town attorney's report.
My report was also in the packet, and as per usual, if we need to chat, we'll have to have an executive session. I'm also available before or after the meeting if anybody has anything. So,
Thank you, Mr. Corbell. Okay, next is old business, and there is no old business. Moving to number 13, new business. We would like action concerning the Bramble Lane plan. We will start with a motion, then I'll let Mr. Ennis explain. Any questions for council? Can we have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the Bramble Lane Plan lot line revision, block and lot number 613-D-301 and 613-D-291.
Thank you. And do we have a second?
Second.
Ms. Alt? Okay, now to consider this, I don't know if you'd like to share anything or if there's a representative who would like to share.
Sure, Matt, do you want to come up and just introduce yourself and give a general overview?
Good evening. Thanks for having us. My name is Matt Dooley. This is Chris Baloris. We are neighbors and have been for 35 years. And about 10 years ago, it was determined that Chris had put a fence that slightly came onto our land. So we've been working since then to address that. And we've done the surveying, we've done all the forms, we've been to the commission, to the town council, and now we'd like to make sure that you approve this so that we can then file with the county and get things done.
Yeah, I can note that the plan is in compliance with all of the zoning requirements, and this lot line revision does bring the properties into further compliance where they would, as existing, be out of compliance in terms of setbacks for accessory structures.
There's a very thin pizza slice. It starts point up the Bramble Lane and comes back some 110 feet, and it's only 14 feet wide at the back. So that's the piece in contention, not contention. That's the piece we're going to give to them.
Thank you. And does this impact any neighbors' properties?
No, just us two.
Okay. Any other questions from council for Mr. Ennis or?
I applaud you guys for working together.
We've been doing that a long time.
We just don't want any problems going forward.
Thinking about myself, it's like the most civil discussion I've heard about property dispute.
Yeah, we did some arm wrestling.
Yellowstone, this is not, right?
Thank you.
If you have any other questions, it's pretty straightforward.
Okay,
All right.
thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here this evening with us, too. We have a motion and a second. All in favor of approving the Bramble Lane Plan lot line revision, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for being here this evening. Okay, next we have action concerning the Peebles Elementary School Plan. Should we make a motion or should we have a discussion first?
I think we could do a presentation first.
Okay, because it applies to all three. Okay. Mr. Ennis, would you like to welcome our guests here about this, please?
Yeah, Craig, if you want to step up.
Good evening. Again, I'm Craig Bishop with HRG, and I do have Brandon with the school district with me, as well as their solicitor, Jason, and then I have my colleague, Josh, and the architect, Thomas. So I appreciate your time tonight to go over the People's Elementary School lot consolidation and land development plan. If you want to go to the slide. So here on this slide, this slide is showing the parcel out front that was previously rezoned to SD. So we're looking to consolidate that parcel with the overall school district parcel, 716K248. Then this here is the existing conditions plan of the People's Elementary School property. So you can see there in the front is that residential house that got rezoned, and the district will be looking to demo that as part of this plan. But if you go back further into the site, you'll see there is an existing wetland that we're trying to avoid as part of our plan. And then you'll also see some of the trees and things that we surveyed within the project area. And then the rest is just the existing circulation and parking and the elementary school itself. So this here is our proposed site plan. So you can see there at the entrance where we've now consolidated that parcel to make room to make a better entrance to the elementary school. So we have one lane that would be coming in off of Peoples, and then as you be exiting, you would have a left turn only lane and then a right turn only lane. And then we've also, you can see we've added angled parking there in the front to allow more parking spaces for the district for as far as their operations. And we also have the sidewalk connecting that parking back further into the site. And then as you go back further, we've reconfigured the existing parking out front to create more parking spaces. So in total, with that and then some of the parking there in the back, we've increased 57 parking spaces for the school district at Peoples Elementary School, which has been a concern of theirs and an issue is just not having enough parking for their operations. And then I'm going to go back sort of out to the front. So as you're entering the site, you'll see we have a sidewalk there picking up to the neighbor. They have stairs that come out to the mailbox. So we are providing connection from their sidewalk and pulling that in as connectivity into the site and up and around and connecting back to the front of the school. There in orange, you'll see the building additions as part of this project. So they're adding on there in the front for administrative offices, and then the LGI room, and then some additional classroom spaces. And then as part of this submission here, you would have seen a waiver request for sidewalk. So we're requesting a waiver from sidewalk along Peoples Road just because there's no sidewalks out there currently, and we don't want to promote kids walking to the Peoples Elementary School and crossing, or parents, whatever, coming on late to work and dropping their kids off and then running. We want to really promote everything to be bused or parents pulling in and dropping their kids off.
Just a fast question.
Yes.
I'm not, what is LGI?
It's large group instruction.
Okay, just out of curiosity. Thank you.
Oh, and then, I'm sorry, as part of this, too, they are looking to renovate their playgrounds. So they will be getting new equipment and a new play space as well. That's still kind of in the works. We've allocated in purple for that space. So on this slide here, this is just showing that building elevation there in the front where the new administration bump out would be. So you can see the architect did it really well and really mimicking the existing features to make it blend in as if it was always there. If you go to the next slide, Matt, there, I guess in the background of this one here, it has the kind of the sunlight shining on it. That is the LGI addition. So again, you can see that the architect really did a good job of trying to make it blend in with the existing building. And then on this slide, this is showing our grading and drainage plan for the property. So you'll see probably the main thing here is the stormwater that we kind of want to talk about. So you can see there in the main circle with the parking, we have a red rectangle there. That is underground detention. And then down below, which is above an existing basin, we have an above ground infiltration basin. So when we did our investigation on the site, we had to do infiltration testing in various areas, trying to see if we could achieve infiltration, because that's what DEP prefers you to do. So in that, where the infiltration basin is located, that was one of the only areas that we did get infiltration, which is why that is needed to be located down there, which is going to my next slide talking about the trees that will pertain to that. But we are meeting all the runoff rates and water quality requirements of McCandless's ordinance. So this, on this slide here, this is showing our landscape plan. So you can see we are meeting buffer requirements for McCandless and the parking lot tree requirements as well. As part of this development, and we are removing trees. So we have looked at the site and really tried to maximize replanting of these trees to meet the McCandless ordinance. So it's, if any tree that's over 6 inches in diameter, you need to replace it with 2.5 inch caliber trees. So as part of this project, we are removing 60 existing trees. And as this plan is in front of you, really trying to maximize the areas that we can replant trees, we're proposing to replant 77 trees. So we are short of the required 120. However, in the McCandless ordinance, section 1104-320, preservation and protection of existing vegetation, 4E, it does allow an applicant to request from council to relocate replacement trees on public lands or accept an equivalent fee in lieu of the plantings. So as part of this application, we are requesting, I guess, a modification as well in case we need to work out more details as far as the MPC. But we want to work with McCandless to try and find locations to replant these trees that we aren't able to maintain and replant on site, or fund something, payment in lieu of some other project within McCandless. We go to the next slide. On this slide here is showing the monument sign that would be placed out in front of people so it would play off the building and match it architecturally. And then this plan here is just showing the existing circulation. So in red is where the buses enter currently, and they loop around the front, drop off, and then they exit. And then in yellow is where the existing parent drop off and pickup is there in the rear. So if you go to the next slide, Matt. So in this plan, circulation stays the same for the buses. They'll enter, they'll drop the students off in the front, and then they'll exit out the revised modified entrance. And then you can see in the yellowish orange, just showing the new proposed parent drop-off pickup. So it's following the same general path that they currently have. However, with some of this modified with some of the parking and the circulation in the back, we are increasing the queue length a little bit. And we feel that with the improvements to the entry to the school with the left out and the right out lanes, people will exit quicker and it will flow a lot better than it does today. And then just a quick update on permitting. So we did address actually technical comments from the Conservation District, and we resubmitted those last week. PennDOT, we're coordinating with PennDOT on our driveway entrance because that Peoples is a state route. So that's currently in review with PennDOT. And then sewage approval, we were not increasing any flow, so we didn't need to do any waiver requests or sewage planning modules. So I guess tonight I'm requesting conditional approval from council on this land development and lot consolidation application on behalf of the North Allegheny School District, and I'll open it up to any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Bishop. Well, I'd like to open up to questions from council.
So had I not sat in on all the presentations you did in front of planning, my questions would be about the waivers that you're asking for, but my understanding is that both the sidewalk requirement and the tree is looking at the safety of our students, correct?
That's correct, yes.
So I was astonished to learn how many children do not ride the bus to school and how many parents go through and drop off, and how many cars are backed up on Peebles. So I am a tree person, but I think that the safety of our children is paramount. Now, my understanding is that you have agreed, the school district has agreed to work with the town, and specifically even the EAC, to kind of address some of the tree concerns, because that's a real concern here for our town. So those are my two things. If we're looking at it from a safety standpoint for our students and the staff and the visitors that go there, and you're agreeing to work with council, I think those are both moves in the right direction.
You know, I have some experience with this because, you know, we had to last, I guess, May a year ago, previous council, Mr. Hart and I met with the parents club or the parents group at Peebles because there were issues with the flashing lights at specific times. And it was dangerous. Your principal at the time did a great job of mitigating that. And I love to see in this plan that you're actually allowing for a lot more cars, parental cars, to come in the back the way the previous principal laid it out. I think this is a great plan. I just wish we could get PennDOT to get on board and give us a turning lane. That would be great.
Well, we submit the PennDOT early on and did the traffic scoping meeting with them, and they did deem that no traffic roadway improvements were necessary.
Thank you. Any other questions from council? Matt, you done?
Yeah, I just want to clarify the tree replacement waiver, just to make sure that we're all on the same page.
Thank you.
So the replacement waiver does not exempt the replacement of trees. So it's not that the trees are removed and then don't get added. The waiver is for the replacement of the trees on site. So whenever, if this item's approved and that's conditionally part of the approval, as commented, then that would be established in the developer agreement that the town and the developer, as every development has, would agree upon. And that would be established to where, whether it was whatever's decided, but typically like a fee in lieu payment would be a part of that development, and those trees would be planted.
Thank you. So when we speak of fee in lieu, that could mean that trees could be planted on McCandless grounds in our parks. And
yeah, I mean, my recommendation would be that if we're going to accept a waiver, it would be to be in the form of a fee in lieu. That way the school district, they pay for the requirement of replanting the trees, and it gives the town the ability to decide, where the best usability for the public, those trees being planted would achieve.
And then with the fee in lieu, we could start seeing trees being planted very quickly.
Yeah.
So.
One thing we've learned through looking at these plans, speaking with Matt, speaking with Kelly, looking at a plan that we're developing right now for the Phil site along Harmony, our tree requirement is very difficult to meet. For our own property, we're going to have a hard time figuring out how to replant enough trees at that Phil site. You have competing interests. You have to produce an area big enough for adequate stormwater control, but in order to do that, you make a pond, and the pond ends up needing to eliminate trees. Something that in the future we'll have to look at when we get to the subdivision and land development ordinance. If we get a chance to review that, trying to make sure that we are, requesting something that's achievable.
Now, the other point that I wanted to make was we're losing 60 trees and we're planting 70. And I realize that there are differences in the trees, but we actually are planting more trees than what we're losing.
Yeah, it's a 2-to-1 requirement for 6-inch. 1 6-inch tree goes to 2.5 inch width trees, and those would grow and you have more trees.
Right. I understand. Okay, thank you.
Do we have any comments from the engineer on this proposed plan, or like the retention pond or anything like that? Has it brought up any concerns from you?
No, I think the main points have kind of been stated in regards to the competing interests. And I do think that the applicant has made a fair attempt to safely plant trees across the site, given the areas that they have still available. We've had some in-depth discussions on that, so I do think that it is an approachable step forward on that. Regarding stormwater, there is some existing infrastructure on site, so we did a thorough review to assess how the additions are going to be conveyed through either the existing facilities and then routed through the new facilities as well to ensure that we're meeting the current code requirements for the new areas that provide it. And then in addition, there are 2 homes that are currently existing off of the driveway into the property itself. As a part of the consolidation plan, they have made it clear that there are access rights that will be a part of the plan for those 2 property owners. And then in addition, during the construction phase, we are requiring that they have an executed agreement with those owners, so it's very understood by all parties what needs to be done and what those conditions are going to be like during and after construction. Thank you.
Okay, any further questions from council?
I have a question and a comment. And to start the comment, there are parents in that area that do want to promote safe walking. I know that this was designed as such to make sure that children aren't walking safely, but they would, prefer changes that enable safe transit. So if one were concerned about that, the minutes on the Planning Commission, the July meeting about sidewalks read like this. It says, there was discussion and clarification on sidewalk locations and length in regard to safety and connectivity. So somewhat tangential, but when we talk about potentially removing video access, if you were to go back and read the minutes and not have the video recordings that we're thinking about phasing out, it would be very difficult to know exactly how that discussion went. It doesn't have a lot substantial. So I think that's something to keep in mind. But my question is for Mr. Ennis, Ms. Salt, could you bring us up to speed on what these discussions were? And as an additional, we reached out to PennDOT for some matters. Did we reach out to PennDOT regarding putting sidewalks along the street? That would be feasible? That sort of thing.
So there was back and forth discussion between the applicant and the planning commission. It was as I noted in my staff report, a 5-to-1 vote in favor of the sidewalk waiver. I think on this site, there was a lot of back and forth, and it was part of the recommendation from the planning commission to move the sidewalks further away from the street to not harbor any students walking on the site. I would say that the school district was pretty open to the comments that the planning commission provided, and the planning commission's final note was from 1 or 2 of the members was that they didn't agree with the sentiment that the neighbors had it that you just mentioned, but that was the general discussion. Was a little bit of back and forth discussion of safety, discussion of walkability along Peebles, and essentially promoting pedestrian access on that site.
So was there a discussion between the town, the school district, and PennDOT because I heard that question specifically asked?
Well,
about having sidewalks on Peebles.
Along the whole strip, there's not a discussion between the school and PennDOT and the town about a full sidewalk along Peebles Road. There's not a discussion.
No, yes, that is something I wanted to ask, because we contacted PennDOT, it sounds like, for other matters, and that was something, sidewalks along Peebles would be in PennDOT's court, and so I find it a little disappointing that we didn't even broach the subject and see if that was something that they would consider.
Well, if the requirement was that they would put in sidewalks, like if the council required them to put in sidewalks, then they would be putting in sidewalks. They're just requesting a waiver to not put in sidewalks and citing that there was no pedestrian access available and citing safety. Whether or not PennDOT was or was not involved in that to do anything within the PennDOT level, would require an HOP. So if you're talking about a full sidewalk plan, in discussing with PennDOT, I wouldn't say that that would be attached to an applicant-driven application, but rather a town-initiated plan.
That would be a DCES, right, Katie? Okay.
Yeah, because that would impact at least 8, 10 properties between the school down to the intersection of Duncan on that side alone.
But there is.
And now they're even going toward McKnight.
There is a 12-foot state right-of-way.
So certain developments can trigger our ability in order to require sidewalks. This would require that only on their property. So their property is very narrow at the front, and I think that their point is, I don't want to direct somebody out there if there's not a place for them to go. So.
No,
could the
I
town-
agree with the plan. I think we're talking about two different things here. We're talking about the plan, which I think is great, based upon the fact that PennDOT doesn't have sidewalks on Peoples Road. The question that my fellow councilman asked was, have we had any discussion with PennDOT about putting sidewalks on Peoples Road? And clearly that has not been done, and that is a separate issue from what we're talking about here.
Correct, sorry, my bad, I didn't understand what you're asking.
That's fine.
We're getting there.
Before I guess my thought was, before we eliminated sidewalks because we didn't want to promote safety, did we make any venture to an alternative, which would be contacting PennDOT, seeing what.
Yeah, and I don't think that the timeline for doing that task would meet the timeline that we're required under the municipality's planning code to review and approve plans submitted by applicants.
And to your point, I don't want kids walking on a sidewalk out to the road where there's no connector. That's ridiculous. So I think this plan's fine.
I guess one final note and a concern I have into the future is the school district doesn't put sidewalks out because there's nowhere for them to go. And then however many years down the line, if PennDOT looks at the road and says, well, there's nothing to connect this sidewalk to, so there's no point in putting wood in, repeating ad infinitum, right? Because there's never ever, just something.
I understand your point is that if we don't start, then we never start. The question that I think that, the reason why staff was okay with this waiver request is because, we have to look at the reality of the development of that area if it would ever trigger sidewalks to be installed. Sidewalks sound great until you talk about who's going to own them, who's going to maintain them forever, and who's going to pay for them. So even if you get a grant to own them and put them in, you would have affected property owners, and we'd say, congratulations, you now own and maintain a sidewalk forever. And that is going to have some people maybe smile, and it's going to have some others frown. So looking at this plan, trying to decide, whether this was a benefit or not, we felt like it was small enough that it wasn't. I'm sure that if there was a bigger scope project in there, I think we're talking about 4 feet of sidewalk on each side of this driveway, basically, that our friends at the school district would be kind enough to help us with that, so.
That's just what I was gonna mention, that if sidewalks are put in along Peoples, I was just talking with Brandon, with the school district, and they would be willing at that time to consider connecting out to have the connectivity.
Thank you. Any further questions or comments from council at this time? Okay, if there's no further questions, can we have a motion, please, for the first
I
modification
make a
request?
motion to approve a modification request from 1104-230A, subsection A, subsection 1, to allow a waiver of sidewalk requirement along Peoples Road as shown on the plan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. All in favor of approving modification request, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We have a motion for item B.
I'll make a motion again to approve a modification request from 1104.320 subsection A, subsection 4, to allow a waiver of the tree replacement requirement.
Motion, we have a second, please.
Second.
Thank you. I actually have a question on this. Does it need to be written in here that we will request a fee in lieu to pass this motion? That can just be part of our statement later.
Part of the agreement.
Okay. Thank you. Any further questions from council? Okay, all in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. And item C, to approve or reject the combined preliminary final development lot consolidation plan.
I move to approve Peoples Elementary School Plan combined preliminary and final land development and lot consolidation, block lot 716-K-248 and 716.F-34, subject to addressing all outstanding comments in the town engineering memo dated August 2026, and all subsequent memos.
Thank you. Do we have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Hickerson. Any further comment or question from council? Okay, all in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries 0. And now we will travel just a little bit down the road to Hosek. Proud Hosek mom here.
Back again. Yep, so just as Matt has pulled up the Hosek Elementary School presentation, I'll have him just go to the next slide. And similar to the People's land development and lot consolidation application, we have 2 separate parcels for this property as well, both owned by North Allegheny School District. So as part of this, this land development, they're going to be consolidating, or requesting to consolidate these 2 lots into one. So this plan was just showing it when it would look like it was consolidated. The next slide. So this here is our existing conditions plan of the property. So I think just a couple main points or things that I want to point out is there in the front, there's an existing stormwater facility with an underground detention system as well. And then as you go back further into the site, you'll see there's an existing stream that is conveyed through a culvert and discharges under some of the site improvements that are there today, and then discharges off the property there to the slide south. And then also up in that general vicinity, you'll see we also delineated a wetland that we were trying to avoid as part of these improvements.
Is this a consolidation of the existing property into Nike missile site?
Correct. So it's the Nike missile site, yeah, consolidating into the Hosek Elementary School property. So this here is our site plan. So you can see we're leaving the main entrance alone. So we're not redoing any of the entrance drives or anything like that. But as you work your way back into the site, we are adding an additional 47 parking spaces, and we're adding extra drive paths and everything through the facility, which will I'll show in a future slide, just showing the circulation, how that all works, and how we're improving what they currently have today. And then as part of this, we have to relocate the dumpster pad, so we're relocating that on the site, and then reconfiguring some of the sidewalk there that, again, will relate to some of the parent drop-off pickup and just redoing it. Right now, there's like a hard turn, so we're kind of making that a smoother transition for the parents when they're going through the queuing. And then up along the building there, you'll see in orange the administrative addition that's being bumped out there in the front. And then again, they have another LGI addition as well at this facility, so they'll be adding there to the back. And then just like the People's plan, they will be renovating and updating their playground with new equipment. So here on this slide, it's just showing the admin building addition. And again, just the architect really did a good job of playing off the existing materials and features of that existing building and making it look like it was always there. Next slide is showing the LGI bump out. Similar to the admin, again, it's playing off of the building there and really blending in well. Then this slide here is our grading and drainage plan. So you'll see There in red, that is our stormwater management facility for the property. So that is managing all the new impervious through that system to meet the McCandless stormwater regulations as far as rate and water quality and volume requirements. If you go to the next slide, Matt. So like we had on Peoples, this is our landscape plan to meet the tree requirements for the parking spaces and then screening and buffering as well. But as similar to Peoples, we're struggling to get planted the required trees on this facility. Again, due to safety, sight lines, and their existing features of the property, because in the back, I know you don't see it here, but there is like a baseball field and everything in the back, so they're really limited to the area that they can do this tree replacement. So we are removing 90 trees on this site, and this is mainly in the stormwater detention facility area, and we're proposing to replace 32 trees, so that we're short again of that 2 to 1 ratio. So we're requesting a waiver again, similar to the Peoples application, and meeting the, just want to mention the section of the code. That section 1104.320, the preservation and protection of existing vegetation. So again, we'll be requesting that item 4E, where, you know, if we can't fit all the trees on site, we will work with the town to either do a payment in lieu of or find other lands off-site to.
Can you go through those numbers with me again?
Yeah.
How many trees are you getting rid of? 90?
There are 90. So, and I will say, it seems like a lot of trees, but a majority of those trees are on the smaller side. So I know you don't have, I don't have the math on this slide, but on our landscape plan and demo plan, we did list the caliper and stuff of those trees, and I would say 60 to 7% of those trees were between 6 to 10 inches. So those are the ones that they're on the smaller side, but because they're over the 6-inch requirement, then we have to replant them 2 to 1 ratio. So I know it seems like a lot of trees, but they are on the smaller side.
6 to 10 is still much larger than 2.5.
Yeah.
Yep.
And my other question is, are there other areas of this combined parcel that we can put trees? I mean, that's just a question.
Yes. So the district is looking at that other facility as potential projects in the future. So there were, don't want to plant trees on a property and then have to come back in later, and then you're going to be moving them again and dealing with this whole thing. So just to kind of simplify this process, they're requesting the waiver. And again, to your point, yes, they are 2.5-inch caliper trees versus whatever the 6-inch, but we are trying to comply with the ordinance where if you're taking down one, you're replanting it with 2.5-inch caliper trees.
I'm looking at the final bullet there. Does this mean it's not finalized and there's still room for change?
There may be we may be able to assess in some other areas that we could add some more trees to try to get closer to that number. But there's no way that we're required 180 trees that we're going to be able to fit those on this property.
Yeah, but replace it out. What the requirement is 180. What you're replacing it with is 32.
Yeah.
Okay, did I get
Yeah,
that
that's
right?
what's he said, yeah.
Okay, I'm just trying.
But I do know, you know, not making an opinion on this, but the fact is those trees that were in that Nike missile site, many of them were not purposely planted trees. They were, I don't know what I would call like rogue, like just overgrown.
bush.
It was
Correct.
just
Correct.
big overgrown weeds.
Yeah, I would say a lot of them were cherry trees that are fast growing and not very good trees.
Okay.
I would say too, that one of the things we heard at the planning commission, I do believe, was that at a time when some of the trees were put in, like along the baseball field or the playground area, they thought it was a good idea, but now due to safety concerns and being able to see the children in those locations, it's not as good of an idea as maybe it was once thought to be.
I taught summer rec over there too, and some of those trees are right in the middle of what you're gonna do with a ball field. So, okay. Thank you.
Yep. And then if you want to go to the next slide, Matt. So on this slide, this is showing the existing circulation of the facility. So you can see in red, the buses enter, they swing around the front and drop the students off. And then in yellow is the parent drop off and pickup. And you can see this yellow line currently goes all the way out to Peoples Road. And I know that there's been complaints and things on certain days, maybe there's more than others, but where the parents are dropping off or picking up and vehicles do back up out onto Peoples Road. So in this plan, if you go to the next slide, by adding the additional parking spaces, one, that helps them with their operations and when they have events and things for overflow to have the additional parking, but it's also adding additional queue length for the parents for the drop off and pickup. And as you can see in this yellow line, that is the same length that was shown in that previous slide that went all the way out to Peoples Road. So we are significantly increasing their queue. And we also did not factor in this slide the existing parking lot that's kind of gray. So if it is backing up to Peoples in this scenario, they could even add additional length by pulling through that existing parking lot. And then I think one thing I did not talk about on my site plan slide is similar to the Peoples Land Development and Lot Consolidation application, we're requesting a sidewalk waiver along Peoples Road just due to the safety. Again, there are no sidewalks out there to connect to. We don't want to promote parents that, like I mentioned before, like running late, dropping their kids off at the road. Like we want them to really enter into the site and follow protocol and want to keep this site as safe as possible. And I know you were talking about the sidewalks and the other plan along Peoples. I did talk with Brandon, if it helps the council. If there are sidewalks ever put in on Peoples Road along at Hozak's facility, they would work with council and the town to provide a connection.
So, I mean, this site is less than a mile from the other site, correct?
Correct. And then if you go to the left, oh, you are on the left side, Matt. Or,
I have a question. There is right now direct access from Peoples into that Nike missile site, that kind of gravelly driveway.
Yes.
What will happen? Will that still be an access point, or how will that be addressed?
That will still be an access point. The school district currently uses that as they have a facility back there where they have some of their buses and storage area. So that will still be utilized. And as part of this development, we will be working with that property owner to work with them to get an agreement as far as entrance and who maintains that entrance. And during construction, I'm sure there'll be construction vehicles coming in and out. So we are, as part of this plan, we'll be talking with that neighbor to get an agreement in place.
But that will not have access into the Hozak parking, the new parking?
It will not currently, no.
Okay.
But just a quick permitting update. We have submitted for our NPDES permit that is currently under technical review. We should be receiving our technical comments any day now. And then the sewage, again, we're not increasing student counts, so we didn't need to go through the sewage approval process. So tonight we're requesting conditional approval just on those, the waivers and the modifications. And then addressing any of Gateway's comments and any other comments that may come up tonight.
Thank you. Mr. Ennis, anything to add?
No, this item is pretty similar to the Peebles item. A lot of the justifications that were presented were the same for each item. I think that, there's a couple minor comments on each of these items in terms of engineering that we feel we'll be able to get, resolved prior to construction phase and pre-construction meetings and things like that.
Thank you. Is there anything to add?
Nothing additional.
Thank you. Any further questions, comments from council?
So like the,
Like Peebles?
Peebles, yeah, like Peebles, we're not gonna do sidewalks, we want a sidewalk waiver for safety
Yeah.
mainly, right? And confirmation, on this, the tree waiver. So we're gonna take 90 trees out, we're gonna replace it with 32, just doing some quick math here. That's 148 trees deficit, right? So are we gonna see 148 trees go in other McCandless locations? as
Yes,
part of this
yeah, so,
waiver? Okay.
yeah, so we are, similar to People's, want to work with the town of McCandless to make sure that we, in some fashion, you all are getting your trees.
Gotcha.
And that process would be clarified through the developer agreement of the amount that, if accepted fee and lieu that they would pay, and then the town would have those funds to be able and go and use those to replant trees in locations of the town's choosing.
Mr. Schwab, is that something the council would have to approve? That developers agreement?
No.
Okay, so we wouldn't, this is our only say then?
Yeah, I mean, we'll record in the minutes what they have said they would agree to in the developers agreement, and then we'll hold them to it.
Okay.
Any further comments?
I'll make a motion to approve a modification request from 1104-.230 subsection A, paragraph 1, to allow a waiver of the sidewalk requirement along Peoples Road as shown on the plans.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Hickerson? This is one that I prefer that the sidewalk go in here. I think there's enough space. I don't think you have the same visibility issues that we were looking at with Peebles. And I'm concerned about, right now, there's like a little pathway to the driveway for the Nike site, because parents often use that for events and concerts, et cetera. And the other point being is it's, in our comprehensive plan, we talked about sidewalks and, kind of focusing on the corridors that lead to the park, and we're even closer to the park here. So in my opinion, I do think that a sidewalk is appropriate here. There's enough space, enough green space, and it is level enough that a sidewalk makes sense. So that's in my opinion. Any other comments?
It is a much safer walk, I would say, near Hosa. So I see the logic of sidewalks here, but not on Peebles.
Any further questions or comments before we vote? Okay.
Regarding the trees, going from 60 large.
We're on sidewalks
Oh,
now.
I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
yep. Any further question, comment on the motion for the sidewalks? Okay, all in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay.
Nay.
Roll call, please. Ward 1,
Aye.
Ward 2. Aye. Ward 4,
Aye.
Ward 5,
Aye.
Ward 6.
Nay.
Ward 7, nay. Motion carries 5-2, or 4-2. Okay, now we can begin the discussion of tree replacement. If you'd like to make a motion, please.
I'll make a motion to approve a modification request from 1104.320A4 to allow a waiver of the tree replacement requirement.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Gibson. Okay, now, Mr. Babich.
Going from 60 to 70 trees, even if they are significantly smaller, you'll catch up, I suppose. You'll have more tree volume eventually. Going from 90 large trees to leaving 33 there, and then you think about the delay in getting these other trees planted, you're extending the time until McCandless's overall tree volume catches up, right? It's a bigger ask, I
Yeah,
think.
but if you have an in lieu of charge, tree for tree, we get that money, to probably even be done before the trees are even taken down. And it would be in a different area.
Yeah.
That's the only difference. So I'm all in favor of it. Because otherwise, I mean, if you look at the safety and you look at the traffic plan of what is proposed at Hosek, this is really the only way to do it.
I share your concerns, Mr. Babich,
So
because,
do I.
but now that the fact that there will be trees elsewhere in McCandless, it doesn't diminish the tree canopy in McCandless just at that particular location, and, perhaps we can enhance a place that does need something.
Yes, I appreciate that they're being replaced, though, just like the way area, I suppose, works of trees, many small trees is not the same as fewer large trees. So we are still losing tree volume by doing this, right? Even just down to 2.5 times 2 is not 6,
Well,
right?
Mr. Schwen, the requirement is 2 for 1, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they have to do that could they plant more mature trees?
I mean, the reality of planting is a proper size that will actually take and grow is that 2.5, maybe a 3-inch caliper. You start planting a 4-inch caliper tree, the root ball becomes so large that it's hard for the tree to take. So that's really the right size to put back in place and have it grow. The thing that I'll reiterate is I think that our tree requirement needs revisited. You see a site plan like this, reasonable development should be permitted, but we also know that a tree canopy is valuable to the community. On a site in this situation, and their ask isn't saying, no, we don't want to do it, it's saying we physically can't put them in here in a spot where they will work. So we could require them to go through that forested area of the Nike site and plant their trees back in place, but they're just going to die anyway. So I think that their ask is fair here. I think that it could be a benefit to other town-owned pieces of property also for those trees to get put in and in the end, save our taxpayers the dollars from replanting the trees too. So I know the school district's a ratepayer too, just like we have taxpayers, but I don't see a problem with this here. I know the number sounds shocking, but there's physically nowhere for them to put them if we want them to correct a traffic issue that I think anybody who attends this school knows there's a traffic issue.
Thank you, Mr. Schwen. Anything further from council? Okay, all in favor of approving modification request to allow a waiver of tree replacement, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries 6-0. Okay, a motion for the preliminary and final land development and lot consolidation, please.
Make a motion to approve Hosek Elementary School Plan combined preliminary and final land development and lot consolidation. Block and lot number 827-M-185 and 827-D-176, subject to addressing all the outstanding comments in the town engineering memo dated August 20th, 2026, and all subsequent memos.
Thank you. A second, please.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Alt. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor of approving the preliminary and final land development plan and lot consolidation, Hosek Elementary School, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries 6-0. And one more time, Mr. Bishop, if you join us.
This is the last one for tonight. So I'm here again on behalf of this Allegheny School District, Craig Bishop with HRG, just to discuss the preliminary final land development application for Ingham Elementary. There's no lot consolidation with this one. So it's just strictly land development. So this here, just give everybody a little context, this is the property in question. As you can see there, it's a pretty tight site already, and it's pretty well maximized as far as development goes. So this is a little bit more of a challenge on this one, just trying to fit the school district's needs on this property. Next slide. So this is the existing conditions plan. I do want to just point out there is currently underground detention there along the front, along West Ingomar, that we were really trying to work around. And later on when we get into the stormwater, conversation, we were challenged on this site, trying not to impact that and to pick up the new impervious area and making sure we're routing it in a correct fashion to meet McCandless's zoning or stormwater requirements as far as rate control and volume. Go to the next slide. So this here is our site plan. So there to the slide, I guess north to the right, you'll see we're adding an additional 27 parking spaces to this facility. So I know this is much need of parking, just given how small the current parking lot is. So this will definitely help the school district with some of their operational needs. But that proposed parking lot is currently going where the existing playground facility is. So we will be, as part of this plan, as you can see, reallocating the basketball court that's currently there and putting it in a new proposed location. And then in purple will be play areas to replace the current play equipment that's currently being lost in this plan. And then we'll also be trying to modify as best we can the baseball field to provide a little more outfield length, just to bring it more up to par with the current regulations with baseball. And then we will also be adjusting the dumpster pad area to put it in a better location to have better access for the dumpster trucks coming in and out. And then, like the other projects, they are adding an administrative addition out front. So you'll see that in that plan lower left there, that little triangle piece. And then they are also adding a LGI building addition, which is there on the plan left. When they'll have an outdoor LGI space that will also be attached to that. Go ahead and go to the next slide. This here, just the elevations just showing those additions. Just again, as I have mentioned previously, the architect did a good job of really implementing these and making it feel like it was always part of the building. And if you go to the other slide, that's just showing that the LGI room, that the building addition, again, just playing off of the building and making sure that.
It's along Bellcrest Road, right?
It is, yes. Yep. And then this here is our grading and drainage plan. So as I mentioned previously, I mean, the site is really tight, so this is a challenge trying to fit all these improvements in on this facility. So we actually have underground detention system under that new parking lot. So that is there in the red dashed rectangle. And then we're picking up, as I mentioned previously, some of the existing impervious and kind of doing a swap between the two systems and making sure that we're meeting runoff rate requirements and volume and water quality per the township ordinance.
Fencing in the baseball field from the playground area.
Yes, there'll be new fencing.
Is there an on-field fence that separates the baseball field from the playground?
Currently, no, but there will be in this plan. Yes, we are providing a new fence along the outfield, and then the playground will also be fenced in as well.
Probably has nothing to do with what we're talking about. I was just interested. I'm sorry.
And if you go to the next slide, Matt. So this is our landscape plan. So as you can see there on the plan north there, we have an extensive buffer to meet the ordinance requirements as far as screening. We are cutting down trees as well on this facility. So we are removing 21 trees, and we're replacing them with 31. I think if you do the ratio, we're still short by 11. But again, we're really challenged with this site on how tight it is to replant these trees. So we were maximizing that in this plan and trying to keep sight lines as well open from the building to the playground, because I know that was previously discussed at some of the planning commission
The vast
meetings.
majority of the deficit appears to be behind the building along Bellcrest Road. Is that correct?
Yes, it would be, yes.
Because
And there's a
where the
little,
LGI is.
yeah, there's a few trees there that are being removed, and then there was some in the back near the property line for the extensive with the playground and ball field addition, and pushing that out that we're getting into some of those trees. And I think there's trees also in the outfield at the ball field currently. So those are all getting impact.
In addition to that, is there a fence along the property line that buffers the neighbor next door?
There currently is a chain link fence that is along the property line.
There is?
Yes, but in this proposed plan, we don't have, are you asking for like a screen fence, or is that? No, you're just.
I'm just asking if there is a fence that delineates the neighbor's property and the school district property. Is that there now?
Currently, there is a chain link fence, yes. It doesn't go the full length. It's like a partial. So maybe it goes like, I don't know, a third of the way along that property line. And then, yeah, that's fine, Matt. Again, this is just a monument sign that's being proposed for this facility. It'll be.
Where is that possibly gonna go?
Yeah, there's.
'Cause you are
I know.
technically out of, this is it, guys. I mean, you're not gonna be able to put anything else on this property.
Yeah, no, it's a very challenging site. It's very tight, but we're looking at there, and there's not a label on this plan, but if I could get Matt to point to the bus entrance there, and so to the right of the one-way off of West Ingomar, kind of where those new trees are proposed at that corner would be where we're looking at putting that monument sign.
So the monument sign is gonna be facing Ingomar and not facing, or not looking up and down Ingomar.
We haven't figured out the exact angle of how that's going to work. That was just a depiction of what it's going to look like, or we're working with the architect and thing, as far as making sure.
Because the issue is Grossick Road's hard to get out of anyway. It's difficult to pull out of there. So anything that you do to hamper being able to look down Ingomar Road from Grossick is going to be an issue. There are accidents there now. So, okay.
Yeah, and that monument sign would have to meet all clear sight triangle requirements from PennDOT.
And that will be a separate permit application as well to show that we're meeting those requirements. Just the purpose of that was just to show you all what that monument sign is going to look like.
You're going to use it to match the rest of the schools.
Exactly,
The
yes.
schools in the district, okay.
And on this slide here, we're showing the current circulation of the parent drop-off pickup and the bus circulation. So you can see there in the front in red is the bus circulation where they enter in off of West Ingomar on that one way on the right, and then circle around, drop the students off in the front, and then swing back out to West Ingomar. And then if you look there to the left, that's currently where pickup drop-off is for the kindergarten. And then to the right is where the parent drop-off pickup is for the other students in the facility. So if you go to the next slide, Matt. So as you can see on this plan, we're basically keeping the existing, nothing changes, I guess, with the buses. That stays the same. The kindergarten pickup drop-off will stay the same. But what we're really improving in this plan is the parent drop-off pickup for the rest of the students there. So by adding that extra parking lot, we're adding almost doubling the queue length for them.
Well, that's for the rest of the students, but the kindergarten is 4 times a day.
It's 2 times a day.
I thought there was half-day kindergarten.
There's half-day, but they ride the bus too, and then need
Okay.
picked up at lunch if they're morning, or need a ride too, and then go home on the bus.
Okay, I mean, I'm just thinking
Yeah.
about the worst-case
Yeah.
scenario with parents that want.
So they're not,
I was this way, I took my kid to school and picked him up.
I never did. Kids are on that bus.
I did that, my kids went to a different school, but I understand what you're saying, I want to see as many kids on the bus too. But, you know, I'm just a little concerned about the kindergarten drop-off, but if you don't have a problem with it now,
Yeah, so my
you
understanding,
guys have a problem with it now?
The principal there has expressed the problem with kindergarten pickup or drop-off.
Okay.
The other sites, it does line up on Gross Road. So.
Because if you look at where that comes out, it's 50 feet from the intersection of Bellcrest and Ingomar. That's tight. I mean, when I grew up there, that's where the dumpster was, because you couldn't put anything else there. And they got inventive to put a parking lot there. But, you know, if it works for you guys, I mean, I just think it's too tight to Ingomar Road. And I mean, we're talking about a safety thing, that's all.
yeah.
But this is, they're not, there's
They're
no
not-
change to
there's no
this. They're not asking for any change in this.
I
So we're not,
understand.
we're not
They're
voting on
asking us
this.
to approve a site plan.
Right.
This is their site plan, so I'm gonna point out anything that I think is going to be a shortcoming in the site plan. It doesn't mean I'm not gonna vote for it, because it works for the school district.
Yeah, and as Brandon mentioned, we have had multiple meetings with the district
Oh,
and the
sure.
principal discussing all these improvements. And in those meetings, we had talked about the kindergarten, and they said that there was no issue there. And it was more of the parent drop-off there along, it's like Rosick.
Brandon, do yourself a favor, don't put grass on the infield over there. We did that at Wall Park, it's not working out really.
I think that,
Okay.
Well, just,
I think that concluded my slides on Ingomar. We are currently under review for the MPDS permit with the Conservation District. And there was no need to do the sewage planning module or exemption, since there's no increase in student count. Tonight, we're requesting conditional approval on this land development applications with the modification request on the trees, and then addressing any additional comments that still were outstanding with your engineer's comment letter.
Thank you. Mr. Ennis, anything additional to share?
Nothing additional to add.
Okay. Is there anything? Thank you. Any questions or comments from council before we make some motions?
Can you go back to the map, please? Any one of them. I really appreciate the graphics. I think they're very helpful. The light blue text on light gray background is hard to read.
really rough.
It's a little rough. But in general, the presentation is very, very good for helping visualize.
Thanks, and I'll make note of that, Chris, for next time.
And it will be pretty soon, you know?
I'll make a suggestion too, if you're gonna put a sign into your plan, you should show where it's gonna go on the site plan.
That would be helpful. Okay, any further questions from council before we make a motion? Okay. Okay, we have a motion for the first modification request for Ingomar School.
I will make a motion to approve a modification request from 1104.320 subsection A, paragraph 4, to allow a waiver of the tree replacement requirement.
Thank you. Do we have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Hurst. Anything further from council? Okay. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries 6-0. And now for the combined preliminary and final land development plan for Ingomar Elementary. May I have a motion, please?
I move to approve Ingomar Elementary School Plan Combined Preliminary and Final Land Development, Block Lot 943-M-309, subject to addressing all outstanding comments in the town engineering memo dated August 20th, 2026, and all subsequent memos.
Thank you. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Okay. Anything further from council? Questions or comments? Okay. All in favor of approval of Ingomar Elementary School Plan Combined Preliminary and Final Land Development, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Bishop, for your presentation.
Thank you. I know this was long, to go through all these, but I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And Thomas, so much to stand and say that I'm, have another one, but.
We will see you again soon.
See you next month. Well presented.
We'll keep your seat warm. Okay, now we will move on to action concerning the award of the 2026 crack sealing program. Mr. Schwed, would you like to share any information on that, please?
In an effort to preserve roadways that are probably between about 5 and 7 years since they've been paved, we asked for Gateway to prepare a bid for crack sealing. Our low bidder was McCandless Diamond. This is one of the things that they do best. You can see that their pricing is very reasonable compared to the other two bids that we received. This was a bid that was placed per square yard of material that they would put down on the cracks. The roads were identified by Public Works, and this is an excellent way to preserve the life of town roads. So I don't know when the last time we did a crack sealing program was, but it's something we should include in our paving program in the future. The amount for this money can fit within our paving budget since our award was under bid this year, so under budget this year.
Thank you. I did notice that this came in, I guess, 40% lower than the other bids. Is there anything significant to, like, with the quality of the service or anything that
No,
we need to be
MatCon,
concerned
this is
of?
a specialty. They know how to do it. They have the right equipment, they have the right people, and this is one of the things they do best.
Thank you. Okay, can we have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to award the base bid for the 2026 crack sealing program to McCandless Diamond in the amount of $62,434.32.
Thank you. A second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Ault. Any further questions or comments from council? Okay, hearing none, all in favor of the motion to award the bid to MatCon, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Thank you. And now, action concerning a declaration of disaster emergency, and I will leave it to Mr. Schwend to explain what this is, please.
Thank you, and Mr. Ennis will pull up a few pictures on the screen for you to see. This declaration of disaster emergency outlines the property in question, 10,081 Oak Ridge Drive. It describes the problem, a collapsed stormwater pipe that has failed and is causing damage to public and private property below on Oak Ridge, and that is the reason why it is in your packet. So what we need to do, you can see this photo taken from a recent storm event. This is on the lower portion of Oak Ridge. What we have found is that a failed pipe coming down the hillside, and I think you'll have another, yeah, right there where Matt is showing you, has failed in a number of spots. It's a very steep hillside there. There is an inlet at the bottom that we have found, and it had not been maintained in a significant amount of time. That inlet had probably clogged and had this water build up into an old steel pipe, corrugated metal pipe, just like failed under Cumberland. It failed in numerous spots up the hill, and now it has shown itself. The damage that it's doing to the road includes debris that has been washed out. There's a house next door at the bottom, which is probably going to be reporting some foundation issues, and we need to take care of this much quicker than our typical public bidding process would allow. Declaring this disaster allows us to contract directly through our engineer. They'll help us find reasonable quotes for a contractor who can finish this work in a reasonable time period, and that's identified within the next 30 days, essentially, in your packet. If we would bid this project, this would be a 90 to 120 days before we could get a contractor in there to address it, and we do not feel that's safe for the people who travel up and down Oak Ridge to deal with that. So we've requested to put this in. Mr. Corbel could fill in any more information as to how this declaration of disaster emergency is in accordance with state law, if he'd like to.
It is in accordance with law and our charter and code as well.
Mr. Schwen, let me ask you this. Because this is an emergent situation, and we are going to declare this a disaster or an emergent disaster within the town, would it not qualify for additional funds from the county or from the state because of emergency situations?
We could ask. I don't know the answer to that. We could talk to Representative Benkat's office and see if they can find any funding for that.
Well, I think what we would have to do is, first of all, you go with the county first and ask them to declare this an emergency.
Do we have to declare an emergency
That's
first?
what we're doing first. Yeah, this
We
is,
can do it first, but I'm
That's
just,
first.
I am asking for down the road whether we can recoup some of this money.
we will
because
seek
it's
any
been-
monies that we can to recover this.
Thank you.
John, what is the age of the infrastructure that has failed approximately?
I don't know if we know the answer to that.
The neighborhood is approximately 45 years old.
So that was put in at the
Yeah,
time.
like 45, 50.
It's 50.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
On the
I don't know
upper
what it was
portion.
built, so the infrastructure probably went in before the house was did.
Yes.
The good news is the piping above this steep slope is concrete pipe, so it didn't fail. We took a look in there, and it's still in good condition, but I'm sure for the purposes of how easy it would be to get the metal pipe over the hill from the top to the bottom is why it was used. This will get replaced with a plastic pipe so that it can have a long lifespan that we won't have to worry about again.
So there's really no way we can table this anyway. It's an emergent situation.
You
We
could
need to
choose
take care of
if you want to, but it's going to do additional damage to private and public property, and I would not recommend that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think the neighbors involved, every day, even though what we see on the street may be drying, that water table is really causing havoc on their homes in that area, I'm sure.
Let's get this done.
Let's do it.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I move to approve the declaration of disaster emergency for a catastrophically collapsed stormwater structure located at 10081 Oak Ridge Drive, Wexford, PA 15090, lot block number 1070-H-88.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Wall. Motion is second. All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Madam
Thank you.
President?
Yes.
If I may, I would like to commend Manager Schwend and the rest of the town for responding so quickly to this event. I'm sure that any kind of neglect or delay could have made matters worse.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Thank you, John.
Good, thank you. Thanks to the crew who found it and for Kelly and Matt who put a lot of work in to find the mapping.
Thank you.
Alex down in the manholes. I mean, it's a team effort that takes place to solve these problems, so.
Thank you. Going forward here, we are looking at our planning commission for a new member of our commission. Ms. Alt, would you like to make a motion?
I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I was not prepared to do that.
Okay.
I was very involved in the Oak Ridge
Yes.
because it is.
Yeah, I'm
My
sure you are.
apologies to all. Give me 1 second and I'll be more than happy to do it. Thank you so much. I'd like to make a motion to appoint David Martins to the Planning Commission for a term expiring on December 29th, 2029.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Hopefully, everybody on council had the opportunity to view the interview. If we have any questions, Ms. Alt, thank you for conducting the interview. Any comments or anything you'd like to share?
Well, first of all, I continue to be overwhelmed and grateful to the members of the community that step up for these roles. Without them, we would really be at a loss in some instances. Mr. Martin's enthusiasm and his interest in teaching, being in a teaching mode, being willing to explain to members of the public who may attend a planning commission meeting, fits right in with Matt's way of conducting business, and I think he would be a very good fit to the current group.
Okay, he seemed very well qualified for the position, I'd agree. Any other comments or questions from council? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of appointing David Martins to the Planning Commission for a term expiring on December 29th, 2029. Please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Motion carries 6-0. Thank you. Okay, and at this time, we would like to open up the floor to any non-agenda comments from our public constituents.
Irene Caliendo, 10558 Castle Lane. This is sort of an agenda item, but Madam President, if you may have already done this, or you may intend to do it, but if not, may I suggest that you involve the EAC and consult with them about the tree situation and the replacement. They might have some valuable ideas.
Thank you. We definitely will.
Paul Heckman, 10529 Abbey Lane. Following up on Irene's comments, our Pittsburgh tree giveaways that we've been doing have been very well received. Is there any reason why the town can't take some of those trees in lieu and use that as a replacement for the Tree Pittsburgh people, especially because these trees would be a little more robust than the trees the Tree Pittsburgh brings us. And I know as someone who has lots of room for free trees, we'd be very enthusiastic about planting some more trees up in North Meadows. We're only 1 for 2, unfortunately, on the Tree Pittsburgh trees. So I think, when you see the people coming in and how many trees we give away through that, placing 100 and some trees, I don't think would be a big stretch to do at any time when it's appropriate. Because every time I've been down to get my free tree, there's lots of people there.
Thank you very much for your comments.
Christine Casey, 129 Ashley Hill Drive, Wexford 15090. Just seconding what they say, do we know if the 2-to-1 replacement is working? Like, does anyone keep track of if the trees are surviving? I have not planted a ton of trees in my lifetime, but they take some care at the very beginning. So, we are allowing them to not replace what we want them to replace, and instead they can put them somewhere else. But if those trees aren't surviving, we're still in that negative at that point. So I don't know if the EAC is checking in on that or looking to see, or if they've ever, throughout this whole process, even for other projects, are we monitoring whether the trees that are being planted are even, surviving? Also, unrelated, I don't play baseball, but I think it was Ingomar, we're hitting baseballs towards a playground. I don't know if the field is going to just be for young kids or if high schoolers are going to play there, but it seems slightly dangerous to hit them that way. That's all.
Thank you for your comments. Is there any further public comment on agenda items at this time? Okay. Seeing none, do we have a motion to adjourn, please?
Moved.
Thank you, Mr. Wall. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Hickerson. All in favor of adjournment, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries 6-0. Thank you very much, everyone.